This bastard, Darren whispers to me. He was going easy on me the first time we fought. Hell, I'm not even sure if he's being serious right now. A few more minutes pass. The fight still doesn't seem to be going anywhere. At least the two commanders seem to be enjoying themselves well enough. You're all pathetic, shouts a mage who is wearing red robes and has a particularly crazy look in his eyes. There are dozens of you and you're scared to take on a single Stillwater. Don't tell me you're actually planning to watch the fight until the end. Eden and Hadric has both stopped their battle and are both looking at the mage who just spoke. Calm down, my friend, Azarius says. You already told us that we're not participating in the tournament. Why should we attack him for no good reason? You're a fool to believe him, old man. A fool and a coward. If you're all too craven to attack him, then I'll do it myself. Turns towards Aiden, raises his hand in the air. Behold, Stillwater, behold the power of Felran, the strongest fire elementalist in the eastern continent. As he speaks, there are enormous spinning column of flame forming around him. I see you're already accepted your fate. You're not even trying to raise a magical barrier around yourself. Don't worry, I'll make this quick. Can't really guarantee you it will be painless though. And he's just lolling out. His laugh was just as crazy as he looks in his eyes. He looks at him calmly, his eyes closed. He raises an eyebrow. Die, the mage screams. He sends all the fire towards the Stillwater in the form of a beam. Before the flames reach him, Aiden stretches his right arm in front of him with his palm facing the fire elementalist mage. All the fire stops and gets condensed into a small bright sphere floating in front of his hand. The sphere, who gets sent back towards his original aura with shocking speed, incinerating the elementalist in an instant. The flame disappeared just as fast as they appeared, leaving only a pile of ashes where the proud mage once stood. Damn, you sure don't pull your punches. Hadric kills the Stillwater. Neither did he, for all the good it did him, Aiden says. He then looks towards me and with his eyes still closed and smiles wickedly. Oh no, he must have realized he also teleported me here along with the others. What is he plotting this time? Alright, let's continue, says the dwarf grinning. I'm terribly sorry, but something came up. Sorry. I'm terribly sorry, but something came up and I no longer have time to finish our duel. However, there is another Stillwater in this clearing who I'm sure would be more than glad to be your next opponent. As he looks at me, smiling, all the mages turn his head, notice me at the first time. Who, me? I'm not a Stillwater. Actually, I'm kind of busy too. Maybe some other time. What are you all looking at? Never seen two Stillwaters in one place before? Man, all these options are trash, bro. Who, me? I'm not a Stillwater. No need to be so modest, Barry, says Aiden. I'm sure that everyone here already saw you fight a dragon single-handedly a few hours ago. There's a long murmur again as many of the mages confirm having seen me duel the dragon. I'm not a Stillwater, honest, I tell them. I was just using an artifact to augment my powers when I fought that dragon. Horse crap, says an older mage. There are no artifacts that grant you that kind of power. You are just trying to get us to lower our guard. You're all just playing into his hands, says a mage in the white robe with a long blonde hair who appears to be some sort of healer. Stillwater, no, the fact remains that he hasn't cast any sort of spell since we laid eyes on him. Do you think that's a coincidence? No one can possibly fully replenish their magical power in just over 2 hours after a fight with a dragon. He must be in a vulnerable state. Now is the best time to strike. Are you willing to bet your life on that, white mage? Yeah, let's do that. No, he's just smiling. I intend to bet all of our lives on it. A dozen or so armed men step in front of him and start brandishing their weapons. The mage, who are not allied with the healer, seem to contend with just spectating for now. They're all weapon enchanted, Darren whispers to me, but they seem much weaker than Cutthroat Dave, so I should be able to take them all on myself without much trouble. The problem is going to be the healer. I'm willing to bet that he uses healing spells that work during combat, unlike me. So unless I kill each of the men in one strike, they aren't very likely to go down with the white mage while the white mage is still standing. Dan is right. Simply aiming to disable these men temporarily is not going to work in this situation. It's either kill or be killed. I can't afford to let Darren handle them all by himself. I'm the one being targeted after all. I need to help him in any way I can. Says Darren by shooting the henchmen in their heads with my crossbow. Try to take the healer by surprise with my speed and stab him in the heart. What's my speed stat? It's 2. There's no way I could make it. We'll go with the assist the shooting. We'll have to make sure we kill each of them in one shot, tells them as I pull out the crossbow from my backpack. I'll aim for the heads. Alright then, I'll take the 9 on the left, you can take the 3 on the right. Really looking down on me, aren't you? Hey, I'm not the one trying to act all badass with a glorified slingshot in his hands. He doesn't even give me the time to reply. Rushes into the midst of the enemy forces, swinging his sword right and left. I guess I should be getting to work as well. The three on the right, huh? Shoot the first in the head while he's still distracted by Darren's bull rush. Second one barely had the time to understand what was going on before I also shot him down. The third one seems sees what happened to his comrade, attempts to rush at me with his dagger, but it was a futile attempt. Once I killed the last of the henchmen on the right, I looked towards the healer, noted that he is no longer protected by any of his bodyguard. What's more, he isn't even looking towards me, being more concerned with what's happening on the Darren's side on the battlefield. I was the easiest thing in the world to take him out as well, with a well-placed shot to the temple. I'm guessing he has a shield around him. When they see their leader fall to the ground, the mages in his team, who were still left alive, completely freak out and start running away as far as their legs can carry them, without so much as a single glance back towards us. I guess that's that, Darren says, and he starts walking towards me. As we approaches my location, we suddenly find ourselves surrounded by about 10 rock golems that spawn out of nowhere and are at least twice the size of me. There are also a powerful summoner amongst these mages. I was careless to let my guard down just because I scared off a few weaklings. What does matter, Stillwater? Hear a voice coming from behind the wall. Are you going to shoot the golems with a little crossbow as well? This isn't good. Darren won't be able to fight all of these golems by himself. Also defending me, I need to do something. Try to avoid getting hit as long as possible. I think that's the best one. Oh, it's level 1 speed. That should be good. I have level 2 speed. I'm not going to win an arm wrestling match against one of these monsters anytime soon. There's no need to try to fight them head on. I'll just just let Darren do his thing and try to avoid getting hit as long as possible. Fortunately, my speed is more than enough to at least dodge the attacks of the golem strike. They have a very slow movement. It's easy to predict how they will attack next. After dodging a few golems, I take a look towards Darren to see how he's doing, and I'm pleasantly surprised to find out that he's already dispatched 4 of them, is moving on to the 5th. There's now enough room for me to maneuver around these golems. These golems are pretty slow, so they won't be any danger to me. There's several loud and painful bird screams coming from above us. Almost immediately afterwards, you see 5 large hawks falling on the ground at the same time, each of them having been impaled with at least 1 icicle through the chest. Kate is standing behind us with her hood off her head, her signature cold look in her eyes. Typical summoner tactic, is said. Distract the enemies with cannon fodder, then use a surprise attack from above. I'm surprised that you actually managed to survive this long without knowing this, Darren. You must have been living quite a sheltered life while you were out on your heroic campaign. Shut up, Darren says as he cuts down another rock golem. I was going to deal with those birds once they came down. Not everyone has fancy unlimited range attacks to use at their leisure. One of the mages started to scream very loudly, pointing at Kate. Banshee, it's a banshee. Quick kill her before she fully awakens. A lot of mages who seem to be on the fence about this whole fight, but until now, why do they hate banshees so much? Until now, are slowly starting to join the fight as well in order to kill Kate. Aiden seems to have teleported away while we were fighting the golems, and Haddock, who is now lost his dueling partner, is also running towards us, probably looking to join in on the fun. Summoner Mage is beyond himself with joy, thanks to the latest turn of events. Now that I get a clear look at him, I see that he is about 6 feet tall, and he has long pointy ears, green eyes, and blonde hair. I've traveled a lot in my life, but this is the first time I've actually seen an elf in the flesh. It's an elf, I see. Usually they are very isolated from the rest of the world and rarely go outside the elven nation from the eastern continent. I heard they have been invited here too, but I wasn't actually expecting any of them to show up. I guess this goes to show how much of an importance the Magium holds for a mage all around the world. Ha, he says triumphantly. This is what you all get for siding with the Banshee, you lowly peasants. Time for me to prove to you why us elves are superior to you in every way. I'm going to start by dealing with that monstrosity that killed my poor little hawks. Summoner prepares to call more creatures into the battle. Before he can act, Howard places himself between Kate and this attacker and starts panting heavily. Hold on, just give me a sec, he says while looking. Everyone looks at him confused. Man, I just can't get used to running with these short legs. Is this supposed to be a joke of some sort? You dwarves have always had a sense of humor beyond my understanding. Step aside if you know what's best for you. No can do, I'm afraid. Darren says, I can't just stand idly by and let you hoodlums treat a lady with disrespect. A lady, I must admit, I've heard the rumors that dwarves drink so much that they have ale running through their veins instead of blood, but I never thought them to be true. And I wasn't expecting that old saying that elves never leave home without a stick up their arse. So it turns out to be true. Either it's a crazy world we're living in, I'll tell you that. He's saying all that because fucking, what is it? Because dwarves and elves hate each other. That's the common lore in every fucking one of these things. The summoner scowls upon hearing the dwarf's word. That lady you're so keen on protecting is a banshee. She's a plague upon this land, which must be dealt with immediately. Oh, Dwarf have a smug grin on his face. Is she now? If you're not going to get out of my way, then you can join these fools in the depths. I've heard enough of your idiocy for one. Idiocy? I mean, I know he's trying to say idiot, but idiocy, I don't think I've ever heard that word before. I understand it, but I don't think I have. Maybe I have, I don't know. I must have. For Monday, just as the summoner and all the other mages are preparing to attack, a loud shout from Azarius, the sage, freezes everyone in place. Enough, he shouts. There will be no more bloodshed this day. If any of you toddlers still feel like raising a ruckus, I'm the one you'll be fighting next. Do you make myself clear? What? Asked the mage. Have you gone mad? Do you realize what will happen if we let this evil monster roam free? I'm well aware of the consequences. I'm willing to take full responsibility for my actions. You are, however, free to challenge me to a duel if you believe your cause is to be righteous one. Summoner looks as if he were about to explode, and he ultimately decides to simply turn around and leave. Not saying another word, the other mages who are also about to join the fight are now all sheathing their weapons. I'm deeply sorry for not stopping this ridiculous fight sooner, my friends. Azarius says, looking at the four of us in turn. I'm afraid the curiosity got the better of me. I couldn't bring myself to end this before getting the rare opportunity to see the great hero Darren in action. Ooh, why are you helping us? You got all this wrong. You're not allied with the Banshee. Why are you helping us? That I couldn't just stand by and watch these overgrown bullies attack a defenseless young lady. Defenseless, Kate shouts. Young lady, Darren says, confused. But that's a good one, that's a good one. Before they get to finish the conversation, a mage dressed in black robes with a snake tattoo on his head, ooh, a Slytherin, on his bald head, interrupts them by making a loud tisk tisk sound. This will not do, Sage of the West, he says. This will simply not do. Azarius turns to him, simply smiling. A follower of the god of death honors us with his presence, he says. If I did anything to offend you, then by all means, please state your complaint. My complaint is simple, Sage. My god requires more sacrifices to be had this day, and deprived him of them by interrupting this fight. But I am sure that despite his title, Ulrok, the god of death, only delves in necromancy. He is not actually ruling the realm of the dead. Why did he suddenly begin to take an interest in the affairs of people who are still alive? If you are simply in search of fresh corpses, I assure that there are plenty to be found lying around these parts after yesterday's events. Do not question the great Ulrich's judgment, heathen. Your actions have now angered my god, and now you'll feel his wrath. A mage who's wearing a silver circlet on his head, given robes, grabs the necromancer by the arm. Calm down, Zack, he says. There's plenty of time left until the end of the day. We can just kill some more people after we get out of here, and the number of deaths will be the same. Unhand me, fool. I'm only traveling with you because my god ordered me to. Do not presume to tell me what to do. This matter has nothing to do with you or your god of fate. Necromancer pulls himself out of his ally's grasp and starts casting a spell. Tell me, Azarius, he says, have you ever heard of the Still Winter? I've heard several accounts of it when I visited this continent in the past, yes. The sage answers calmly, but none of them were what I could call reliable. Supposedly it was a great war that was waged on the continent between Stillwaters and Ancients some 600 years ago. That's the Still Winters? So the Ancients and the Stillwater have been fighting. So, I mean, the fucking Ancients must be, like, really strong. Like, what do they call, Lesetes? I think they must be fucking strong as shit. That's the only way they could possibly survive fighting a fucking Stillwater, considering how fucking OP those motherfuckers are. Indeed, Zack says, but what would you do if I told you the remains of the Stillwaters who died in that war can still be found deep underground, scattered throughout the continent? As the necromancers speak, dozens of skeletons are starting to slowly surface from the ground below. So they are Stillwaters? Holy shit. So, I mean, Laseti must be fucking strong as shit if they can kill Stillwaters like that. Maybe not every Stillwater is as strong as Aiden, I suppose. Scattered throughout the continent. As the necromancers speak, dozens of skeletons rise. What would you do if I told you that I could bring these Stillwaters back to life as my puppets, with almost all of their former magical powers still intact? The skeletons are now starting to attack all of the mages around us while they're running away, screaming in terror. The sky itself has darkened as it started literally raining fire and brimstone. Kate is struggling to keep an icy roof over our heads to shield us from the flames, but it's melting almost as quick as she's reinforcing it. What do you do, Sage? Tell me. Well, since you asked me so politely, as it says smiling, what I would do is this. The Sage of West smashes his staff into the ground. I can feel a very intense vibration in the ground, in the air all around us. Skeletons have suddenly stopped rampaging. Is he a white mage or something? Are all just standing in place, vibrating loudly. After a few seconds, all their bones shatter into pieces at the same time as the rain of fire is brought to a halt and the sky is starting to clear up once more. Zack, the necromancer, appears to be dumbstruck as he desperately looks around himself to see if there isn't at least one of the undead minions that escaped the onslaught. That was an impressive spell, no doubt, as it says, but in the end, despite their ridiculous amount of magical power, those skeletons are just a bunch of old dried up bones bound together with magic. A powerful enough sonic barrier can shatter any object as long as as you correctly match its vibration. Ooh, he's going about Tesla way. He's going about the Tesla way.